Alrighty. Everyone, Omar here, testing out the photo autofocus because I got a lot of comments about not doing any photos. I tend to forget that people actually buy cameras for that and not just for video. Now, someone specifically was asking about wildlife photos, and the only real wildlife we have in Jersey are the residents. So I'm going to try to help out there, but no promises, as one would imagine. Also, right off the bat, I'm going to ask everyone, and I never do, to like and subscribe because this video I already know is going to be a pain in the butt to edit. Don't know if you've ever seen my, if you've seen any of my other videos, like if you're not new to the channel, you've seen my other videos. It's a pretty unique perspective. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun editing those videos, but they are labor intensive, and I do want to get this out kind of quickly. Obviously, today we have the Fujifilm 150 to 600. And the big problem with it prior was that if you were in AFC mode, you would have to effectively... Hey, little guy, you look so scared. So you see how that's going green right now? People said that in AFC mode and pretty much every other mode that wasn't AFS prior, they would get that green signal indicating that, hey, we're in focus. And then when they check the photos later, they were in fact not in focus, which is a lot worse than just having bad autofocus. So I never actually had that problem because, pro tip, if your camera ever gives you trouble when it comes to autofocus, just switch to single point. Single point autofocus is just a way around bad autofocus. It's still good on old digital cameras. Oh, he went in his little hidey hole thing. Let's see if he pokes his head out. Hey, buddy. I don't bite. Regarding today's video, this is like the worst environment to really put a test like this out because this is it's a very slow lens, f5.6 to f8 at the telephoto end. It's dark, it's wet. I'm grumpy. Squirrel. And there's our wildlife. It seems fine. And I do have... I don't really have any gripes here. Shutter speed's a bit slow. Let me fix that real quick and maybe pump up the ISO a bit more. Noise performance on this thing is good. This is also likely the last autofocus video I'll be doing. Actually, that's a lie. Someone was asking me to test out the Viltrox EF to FX adapter that I had to try out the old Canon lenses. So one more video. The only problem with that one is that that's like a portrait lens. And for like for things I can put up on YouTube, I don't have a network of photographers or models or anything like that up here. So it might take a minute, but I will do that video. That, or I'm going to find like animals that'll let me approach them. I see some geese. There's something across from there. I do have the teleconverter, but I think that's going to be a little too... Huh. I mean, it feels like it's just on single point. Let me see if there's a... I really don't mess with photo autofocus modes. Let's see. Instant AF, by the way, for anyone wondering, that's like Fuji's terminology for subject detect. That's why. Is there automatic? There is no automatic. Lovely. All right, so let's try that. Will you see birds? Yes, it sees birds. But not if I aim above them. What's happened to that guy? What is going on there? Are they fighting? God, these ducks will never know how cinematic they look. And I'm willing to bet, I'm not even going to bother checking these photos. I'm at 600 mil, 1/60th of a second. And I know they're sharp because the IBIS on this thing is the best IBIS I've ever used on any camera for photos, not for video. It's actually only better than Sony when it comes to video there, because Sony cameras have horrible, horrible IBIS, and nobody wants to admit that. I should start just doing photo walks. It's so cold. My hands are already cold and I'm never cold. Oh, cinematic goose. So I'm trying to get like the subject detect. Seems like, I mean, I guess it works. I don't use this stuff. To me, this looks like it works pretty damn well. But for people who do shoot animals like pretty regularly, using continuous autofocus, you let me know. Also, if anyone watching this is in Jersey, and if you're part of one of those groups that has like photographers and models or something, let me know. Because I got a ton of videos I want to make, I just don't have people to shoot up here. Also, I feel like people were just slightly more social down in Virginia. And mind you, I grew up in Jersey, so it's not like I'm a stranger to the area. But I definitely missed the lockdown years, and it's very different coming back. Normally, this place has deer, but I don't think, wow, some jackass left a monster can that I'm now going to have to bring back with me to the trash. Well, at least it makes for a photo, huh? I call this one, People Do Not Deserve This Park. Can I get this guy? I'm on bird mode, but oh, he does not look happy. Hey, little buddy. What's up? Wonder, is there like a rodent auto track setting? Subject detect animal. Is that more accurate? Are birds like not animals all of a sudden? Oh, that's a nest. That's why he's eyeing me. Oh, looks like try to grab these ducks before I definitely probably getting some blur. It is dark right now. Where'd the deer? They're going to be on the other side of this park at this hour, I'm sure of it. Let me adjust the white balance a bit. Yeah. Might have to touch that up a bit in post, but it'll suffice. Oh my God. Ugh. I love telephoto lenses. People don't realize the background separation you get once you start going past like 300 millimeters. It looks good. Cheap kit lens, it looks good. And my favorite telephoto lens is the 70 to 300. It's pretty fast. It's pretty small as well. And the image quality looks really, really good. Telephoto landscape is fun too, but let's see how far up we can take this ISO. 8,000? How do we feel about 8,000? That one, wow. Let me knock the white balance down a bit. Only a little bit. Oops. I'd say autofocus in photo mode is perfect. And for the record, like I've never had, even with the Fuji X-T3, which is supposed to be archaic by comparison, I've just never had any autofocus problems. But part of it's going to be because of that center point. As I go into town right now, the center point autofocus, continuous on the X-T3 wasn't great. For photos, it was fine. For video, it was just not great. But manageable for sports. Rain's starting to pick up a little bit. All right, I'll wrap this up sooner than later, but verdicts in on photos. There was someone who's going to go to Botswana in 2 weeks. I'll put his comment below. I forgot your name, man. You're good to update. You're good. There are no concerns, and you're not going to be shooting at 8,000 ISO in the rain. It's not likely, with a bunch of crap attached to your camera and some processing power going to the fact that I'm recording the screen externally, which is something to consider whenever you do see a screen recorder like this that does take up processing power. Look at that little portrait. It's at 8,000 ISO, so I don't know how it's going to look, but I know it seems like I'm winded, but this backpack is kind of choking me out. Peak design always like unnecessarily. Oh, today's aesthetic shot, but it's not picking up. Or do I have to go back to bird? Yeah, that's kind of annoying. That'd be nice if they had like just an auto setting. But then again, like if I were shooting birds, I'd want one specifically for birds. Yeah, see now it picks it up no problem. Moving around. What if you're nope, focusing on the grass? Focusing, will you focus on the one in the water? So, if there's some foreground issue, actually I should probably test it. Let me see if it'll pick it up after I adjust manually. So, yeah, so it'll go through the brush, it looks like. Let's see here. No, but then I don't know if like other manufacturers are any better there. I know there was another couple that was up there. I saw them in the distance, and I wonder what they thought while I was just talking to myself about ducks and geese. So like, you want to hold that real quick. Just kind of like stare straight at the camera, like I'm violating your personal space. Perfect. Is that eye detect on an animal? No. You see how right now I'm shooting other things instead of like trying to vlog or something? When I'm taking video of other stuff, with this, I don't have a problem. And also when I'm sitting at my desk, I don't have a problem. I think we have to rethink how we do video autofocus tests to some degree, because jumping around, walking in irregular patterns while the camera is still, and like you're not, like if you're chasing your kid on the soccer field or something, you're going to be moving the camera. Maybe this guy there. This is hella underexposed. Oh, I accidentally took an F10. Okay, I'm going to call it quits today. So for wildlife, and by wildlife I mean overgrown rodents, thumbs up. People are going to be super easy. Like I said, I've shot people with the X-T3 no problem. I'm sure with this one I might actually get bored, since I don't have to adjust and recompose. I'm going to walk for a bit. If I see deer, I'll stop and I'll cut to that. But ultimately, photo and video. Ooh, what you eating on, buddy? What you snacking on? No! Oh no! Of course, now the autofocus decides to like get the tiny details. He had something hanging out of his mouth. It was pretty good before. Now it's giving me a stink eye. And this rain's starting to come down. And my ports are exposed. Did I mention this whole edit that you're watching? It has to be done manually. Because for some reason, you can't do 360 footage and 2D footage without distortion, without doing a ton of corrections in any software other than Premiere. And Premiere runs like trash. Ooh, it's really coming down. And unfortunately, that's the only option you have, because I edit most of my commercial stuff in Resolve these days. It's just like the color management is so much better. A lot of commercial work don't do crazy text or crazy transitions or anything. Like the social stuff is just social. So you don't really have to know how to do all of that if you want to work in the field. Specifically talking about video here, Premiere is still better in a lot of respects, regardless of what you see on like threads or articles floating around and stuff. If you've ever done a multicam sequence in Premiere and then have ever tried to do a multicam sequence in Resolve, ugh, they gotta fix that like immediately. I'm actually in the middle of a project that I regret starting and not round tripping back to Premiere because it effectively became a multicam. All right, I'm gonna cut this yap session short because it is starting to come down. I hate the manual focus clutch on this thing. It feels totally disconnected. The only thing worse than it is the Fuji 816, which I guess technically you don't need, but also on the 200 f2, that clutch is garbage. I don't understand why they wouldn't have some level of resistance there. Of course, right when I say I'm leaving, I see a deer. Let me turn bird autofocus off. Where'd he go? Right there. In this horrible, horrible environment, hunting. I think it might be too dark. No. Well, you saw whatever that was there. Oh, thank God, audio's still recording. Let's get a couple more. I feel like it's having trouble there. There you go, subject detect. I don't know if I want to blame that on autofocus or 8000 ISO shooting against a low contrast background. From experience, I'm going to say go ahead and blame the environment over anything else. Oh, this dude's eyeing me down. Whew. Wonder if I got that shot. But yeah, like and subscribe. Catch you at the next one.